Good evening. It is Tuesday evening. As always, here we are with the Sparkle Hour, Chris and Kellyanne, and today without Kellyanne. But Kellyanne unfortunately had some other things to do, actually taking care of the little ones because her husband is right now in deployment. And so she decided, or actually she can't be there because she has to pick the children up. So unfortunately, she couldn't be there. And today we have our guest, which is Gudrun Walfort. And Gudi actually is known, and the friends and I know Gudi for, we just figured out we know each other 17 years already. And so we call her Gudi. Well, Gudrun is the official name. But before we go into that one, Gudi and I say, well, first of all, thank you for being our guest. It's a long time coming. You were actually supposed to be our guest, but unfortunately something happened. I don't know if you want to talk about it later. But you couldn't be our guest when it was initially planned. You were actually supposed to be on our first show, and then actually there's something happened in between. But I'm so excited to have you today, and I love what you're doing and your message that you're doing. So I'm really, really happy to have you as our guest tonight. So welcome.
Hi, Chris. First, thank you for inviting me. It was a little bit surprising this afternoon, but I think we'll get this today. For me, it would be a little bit strange because normally
we speak German.
Normally we are talking only German together. So today it's the first time that we do it in English.
Actually, when we look back, Gudi, actually what we do, and that's what a lot of people just always thought, because we both speak fluently English and fluently French and German as well. So sometimes when we were sitting together somewhere in a restaurant or a cafe and we were talking halfway in German, halfway in English and halfway in French, and people would just think like, what kind of language are you talking, actually?
But yeah, you have to be honest. It depends who is around us.
Exactly, we do that. We switch it. We switch actually in the languages when we don't want people to understand.
Okay.
Right, Gudi. In our tradition, normally I do with Kellyanne. We have the first quick question round, which is just I'm going to give you the question, ask you for the answer, and then I want to talk a little bit about what you do and what you do as a coach, which I find really interesting and I find so important, especially after the pandemic. That is everybody says the pandemic that happened, but I think it's still going on. Actually, we have actually forgotten that it's not over yet, and we're just living with the new thing. So my first question today: pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Pasta. Morning or night?
Morning.
Morning. Your favorite color, Gudi?
Baby blue.
Baby blue. What is your favorite music?
Oh gosh, that depends on. I grew up with techno, but I also like rock.
Okay, great. That's a great choice. Dog or cat? Doggy.
Definitely dog.
Dog. A famous person you would like to meet and why?
Today it's the 9th of November. Mm-hmm. In Germany, a very important day, or in the whole day. If I could meet someone important, it would be Anne Frank.
Anne Frank. And why?
Anne Frank.
Why?
Once again. Since I've been young, I've been always interested in all about the German history because my grandmother told me a lot about. And when I was 8 or 9 years old, I've read the Diary of Anne Frank, and I always imagined how it would, or how I would feel when I've been at her place. And in nowadays, I think it is more and more important not to forget all these names. And today's a very important name. And I'm also taking part in a kind of project. Every name counts. It's an international project by doing, how do you call it? You write down all the names of all these people from the Holocaust, just to remember them, because in the Hebrew you say a person is forgotten or really forgotten from up the day when the name never comes up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
And for me, it's important to do this because my grandmother knew a lot about this history, and nearly everybody of this days will be or are dead right now. We are the
yeah.
last generation uh, which grew up with the real told history, and in a few years, nobody will be left. So
Yeah.
Anne
And
Frank, definitely.
it's absolutely true. Pina colada or Long Island iced tea?
Pina colada.
Pina colada. A shower or a bath?
Shower.
Paris or London? I already know the answer.
Normally Paris, but to meet you, London.
London, fantastic. Would you prefer to go out to a club or to actually have a romantic candlelight dinner at home?
Mm, at the moment,
Hmm. Clubbing.
yes.
Clubbing. Okay, fine. Book or TV?
Book.
Book. And then the final question is chameleon or flamingo?
Ha! I'm
Ah,
here right now. I'm situated in Frieden. It's very important. Frieden is my hometown.
yes.
Ta-da!
Okay,
Ooh,
all
can
right.
you see
Oh,
this?
and it is stand tall, dream big. Okay,
Flamingo.
Kellyanne, you're missing that. I hope you're gonna see this now because actually you're gonna love it. So
You,
it's
Chris,
flamingo.
you have to come with Kelly and to Frieden or
Yeah,
Frieden. It's next to the Netherlands frontier, and in Frieden every year there is a large colony of flamingos coming to have their babies here. Every year there are, I think, about 40, 50 flamingos are here next to me, 2 kilometers away from me, in a kind of, how do you call it, reservat? Is it a
yeah,
reservat? Do we talk?
yeah, reservoir. Yeah,
And it's really, really nice. Nobody believes it, but it's like that. So you're heartily invited to take Chris and visit our flamingos.
come to think. See, she's winning right now. She has like actually won more than I do, but that's okay. I'm happy. So anyway, yeah, great to have you on the show, Gudi. It's really, it has, as I say, has been a long time coming. So I have put a bit of put information about what you actually do in the advertisement of tonight's show. So beside of that, what you do, you train even other trainers, which I find really important as well, because I always think like we should share our knowledge and our experience with other people, and not only keep it for ourselves, which I think is really important. That's why we're doing this show as well. That's why we are inviting coaches, but not only coaches, we're inviting people. We're talking here about life, what is, and we will do it tonight as well. We talk different things. It's not only about our business that we do, but as well what happens in the world, and things like that. But what you're doing, you're actually a resilient coach, and you're specialized on children and young adults. Actually, what you're still doing resilience as well for adults, because when we talk about, I think we can talk later about that a little bit more about the inner child, what a lot of people forget about actually when we can become adults. And you know very well that I just went recently through my trauma where it came out that my parents were not that great as I thought, and they were really bad to me as a child. So now obviously this inner child is coming through to me. But which I think is really important, and especially now in the pandemic, because what we all have forgotten about, and as you said, we're talking about history now. In 20, 30 years time, the children of nowadays will actually look back at the years where the world stopped, literally stopped, because of the pandemic. And what effect does that actually have on our children? These 2 years of lockdown, of a complete chaos, no schools, no kindergarten, wearing masks, and I mean there's a lot of things, and I think it's really important. So you are a resilient coach and you are an NLP practitioner. I know you actually finished last year in the University of Toronto, so I'll let you talk about that as well. You're certificate actually as an NLP practitioner. Like I do the NLP mastery and I did the NLP mastery, so I do fully understand neuro-linguistic programming is so important actually, because to really, and actually while I was talking about that, I was looking at my time up there and we were at 1111, the angel number, which constantly comes to me. We had 1111, which is really, I just looked at it and I thought, okay, my God, I was startled. Anyway,
I see.
Goody, tell me about what you do and how you do it actually, which is really interesting for me as well.
Okay. And Christian knows a lot of my life. I think it was in 2011, when I was diagnosed with a brain cancer. It's called morbus Cushing. It's
Yeah,
the Cushing syndrome.
the Cushing syndrome. Yeah.
And in fact, to keep it short, my own brain tries to kill me, or tried to kill me. I hope it's over now. And so I tried to learn about my brain. And then I was thinking about what can I do to get well. And so I did a lot of studies about my brain, about resilience, about relaxation. And so I came to NLP. I did my coach in relaxation, stress. Do you say it in English? Also stress management?
Yeah, stress management,
And
exactly.
at first, my idea was to help other adults. And so I did courses. I went to schools. But in first, this was a good idea. But on the second side, I saw that it's more and more important to talk to the children, to look at these little tiny humans and to get them strong. And in 2014, I gave birth to a little cute daughter, which is
Lottie.
sitting next to me. She's a little bit excited tonight. So I said it's okay. And so I changed my way of work. And I was thinking about giving courses in schools, in kindergartens, and also in the private way. And I've always worked with children, and it's another way of work. It's like if you want to enlight the fire, or if you want the people to burn, you have to do some special things. And because of my experience as a children's animator, I said, okay, we don't do the clean psycho way, like a doctor or like a psychologist. I did it my way. And my way is more this way.
And it's so funny
funny.
because when you show him, because you do have a dog exactly looking like that.
I
And
know.
and Lotto is actually when we just started to set up the studio, she had the dog in her arms, and I said, "My God, you're strong that you can actually put Amadeus, because that's his name. Actually, you can put him in." And I just realized it was a hand puppet, and I said, "Oh God, he looks so realistic, actually, doesn't he?"
Yeah, and in fact, this is Eric de Chaiselong. And in fact, in Germany, or when I work with him, he is speaking with a little French accent.
Oh, is that
So it's for the children, it's more funny than talking to this normal puppets. You know, everybody has a puppet with a head or with his big eyes. But I think he's cute. So
He's
I love
really
him.
cute. He's really cute.
And in fact, the thing was, you can't excite young people or children with a lesson which is called Entspannungsstunde. In German, it's like relaxation hour.
Yes.
And our language is so hard, and Entspannungsstunde for children doesn't seem to be really funny.
No.
So at first we started with chili vanilli,
Yeah.
and the second one is Glückskurs 2.0. That means something like happy hour
Yeah.
2.0.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's so much fun to see these little humans coming to you and waiting for some news or doing some creative things, and um, they they are happy. They are happy to learn something for the future. You talk to them and they
Mm.
listen to you, like, what does this woman wants from me?
Mm. Yeah.
And for me, it's not really this psychological thing I want to teach them. I want to teach or show them something about the future life. As
Mm.
an adult, you can open a door for them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
in fact,
obviously.
they have to go through by themselves.
Mm.
And it's important to teach the things with all the sense they have.
Mm.
If there are five, this is this Bakok. Some people better learn by watching the things.
Yeah.
Other children learn better by hearing a song.
Yeah.
Another one has to smell the things. Another one has to do his alphabet by cookie dough or something like this, or has to eat this alphabet afterwards. So it's very, very important. But in the days like now, it's really hard to explain um, a kid that it's important to relax,
Yes, it is.
because I don't know, it's in England like that. Here in Germany, in the
Yeah.
kindergarten, the first thing they have to do in the morning is this fucking morning kreis. That means everybody has to sit in a circle to be calm, and the the teacher or the kindergartners
The
are
morning
telling a
circle,
history.
yes.
But
Mm.
it's so important to move, to get fresh air, to drink
Mm.
some water, just to to move.
Yeah.
But the first thing they learn in the kindergarten is to sit still,
Yes.
and that's not the way it should be.
No, it should be. And you know what? One of the thing is really funny what I was going to talk about, because people will say like, but a coach for children. I mean, seriously, because we talking about. I mean, I do executive coaching, so I do big CEOs and etc. And I mean, how messed up there in the head that is. I'm very up, obviously, because they're so focused on the business, and because over the years where they have come up to the top level of their company, they have completely forgotten about to taking care of themselves, and that's the worst thing actually that's happened. They have no emotions, they have no connections to their employees, they have no connections to their own family, to their own wife, and etc. Because actually in the top executive level we have the highest rate of alcohol, drug addictions, divorces, everything, because they completely disconnect from the reality of life. They actually so focused onto the bottom line of the company. But then people will ask me, probably people will watch that if they watch it now. As I said, it's always on the evening. Sometimes a lot of people watch, but they watch it afterwards in the replay. And people will go like, "Well, why would you coach a child?" Well,
To
explain us why you coach. Because I think coach is important for everybody in life. Everybody should have a coach.
Okay,
Everybody.
I know, but when I started in first, I was only coach for adults. You're sitting there, your client is coming, and he's telling about his problems.
Mm.
You listen, and you try to to think with him together to solve his problem.
Ask the
In
ask the
fact,
correct questions. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The correct question sometimes of your book,
Yeah.
but you can throw away all your books. In fact, that was the time when I was suffering from this fucking thing in my head, in my brain.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there is sitting a manager in front of me, telling about his problems and what he wants to do or what he couldn't do. Do you say procrastination?
Procrastination. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Something like this. And
Mhm.
for me, it would be like an advice like tomorrow, instead of going right to the office, you're going left to the office. Or the things, tomorrow you put on your socks after brushing your teeth. You know, I'm giving an advice. And in the next day, a week, you come back and you tell me what has happened in this week. Or try to do, you know, the 3 blessings a day.
Yes.
I give here, you've got a book, a little leather book, and every evening before you go to bed, you write down 3 blessings a day. And the next
The
week, this
affirmations. Yes.
manager is
Yeah.
coming back. What have you done? You know, in the last week, no. Okay, it's well paid, these hours. They are well paid. But in fact, me with my brain cancer, I lost 45 minutes for somebody who doesn't want to learn. But with children, if you give them something like a homework,
Yeah.
they do this, but it has to be creative and it has to be cool. And then I said, okay, why should I waste my time for an adult? It's better to prevent the children that
To
they
even get
can
to this
cope
stage.
with their problems in future, that they don't have to come or to need a coach. So I thought I'm going to work with children and I try to get them resilient because, you know, nobody is born resilient. Nobody.
No. And
It's a
I think
skill.
that is a really good point here, because obviously what you're doing is, and that's why I say coaching is so important. I mean, it is important because most of the time, as you just said, the executives, they can't even ask the simplest question to themselves. So you sit there as a coach and he says, well, how could you change that now? And they go like, what do you mean? I said, well, you just said to me you can't do this and that and
Sorry.
that. How do you change that now? And they go like, well, I could do this and that. And I said, great. I was just talking the other day and I was telling of another fellow coach as well about it. So one of these executives actually was me in a coaching session. And just recently, like about 2 weeks ago. So he was telling me, well, you know what? All my employees hate me. And I'm like, all right. So they all hate you. That is a given, right? So is that a statement? Did they say that to you? No, but I can see they don't talk to me. I'm like, and it's a big multi-billion-pound corporation he's running, right? So it's a telecommunication company. I can't say who it is, but obviously. So I said to him, and I said, that is interesting. Then I asked him, so how could you change that? He said, I don't know. It was like, apparently I do everything for them. I just do give them rewards and they have everything with us and, they're well treated. They don't do overtime and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't change the impact on your employees. So, and I said, but listen, I have been to your offices and I know you do have like a little Starbucks. Actually, it's a Costa coffee, which is a franchisee down there in the building, basically. And I said, so you go there every morning and get your coffee? And he said, yeah, they know already. When I come in, they have already prepared my coffee. I just pick it up and they put it to the account and I just go upstairs. And I said, well, smart thing, isn't it? And I said, now I challenge you for this week. And that was his homework. And I said, I challenge you every morning, instead of just telling them to pick up the coffee, you're going to stand in queue with your employees. And then you're going to have a meaningful conversation with your employees. And then you get your coffee and you sit down at one table with the employees that are sitting there and you're having a meaningful conversation. He said, yeah, well, what do you want to talk about the business? I said, no, you're not going to talk about anything about the business, but that's how they tick, really. And I said, I want you to ask them about their family, where they have been in holiday, how they have done in the pandemic, etc., etc., etc. And you're just already looking at me like this. And it's like, really? And I said, yeah, I want you, I challenge you on that one. So he actually did it. And then last week, I had a call with him then, actually, which is the follow-up. We have weekly call, actually. So I had the call with him and I could see in his face, he was like, oh, happy. And I was like, And I said, "So how was the week?" And he said, "Amazing, amazing. I actually did that every day as you told me. And I talked to about 10 people all the time, standing in the queue, having conversation." And then he said, "It's funny. Then I had a board meeting with my top managers, my top executives, and they were saying it's quite funny. Everybody's talking about me in a very positive way in the departments because," and I said, "See, this is the ripple effect because they didn't even know you." And you said to me weeks ago, you said, "Oh, my door is always open for the employees." I said, "That might have been the case, but you didn't even send out a signal. You just came in, picked up your coffee, and went off." And I said, "Why are you not able? This is Gudi, you and I, we both know this is the most simple thing, communication with the people. But they don't even think that far. They don't even think that far."
And that's the thing. Being, in German, you say echt, being authentic,
Authentic,
being
yes.
you. Before I got sick, for me, the biggest aim was to satisfy all the people around me.
Yes.
I, you know the word Glaubenssätze, the things
Yeah.
the people, your parents told you. How do you call it in English? Glaubenssätze,
Hell,
beliefs.
beliefs, yeah. Into
And in
belief.
fact,
Okay.
for me, it was too important to
Oh,
be
here, see, I just
everybody's
hold on a second.
darling.
I'm gonna show something. One first here.
Best
Oh.
hairdresser ever. She is so nice. She's the best hairdresser ever. I miss her so much. No, in fact, it's for me the biggest aim was to make my parents happy because my father was well known here in town just until right now. I came back after 30 years, but that's another story. Um, I thought I had to be everybody's darling.
Hmm.
But after I felt sick,
Hmm.
I decided it's also very nice to be everybody's peep
Yeah.
Arschloch.
Yeah.
You know what I want to say. No, it's for every. I don't want to cup with everyone.
Hmm.
I For me it's more important to have a few good friends like you, for
Hmm.
example, than tons of fake friends.
Yeah, no, it's quite funny actually that you mentioned that because I went recently, and as I said, Goody, we know each other so long, and we sometimes don't have contact for months and months and months. But the funny thing is, when we have contact, it's always like we pick up the conversation where we left up last time. But that's what we are friends are, and. Whenever I had a downtime, I always knew I could call you. And the same for you when you had. There's so many stories in between of us, but it's always been like this thing where we always knew we could count on each other. And don't get me wrong, we had our moments where we went heads on, and that is great. But I went recently through my phone actually, and that was really thing. I went through all the contacts I have, and I was looking at people. Like, I turned 50 this year, and I would just
Mm.
look through that, and I said, looking at the people, how many times I actually engaged the conversation, and then I don't hear from them for months and months and months, and I re-engage the conversation. Then I get like this typical, yeah, great, doing this, doing that, and then I said, how many times did they get a conversation came from the other side, so they actually tried to reach out to me? And I tell you, when I saw that I did more than 3 times the conversation and engaged the conversation over months or year, and they did never come back to me, you know what I did? I just deleted it. I deleted 274 contacts in my phone. And I'm very happy that I did that because I did that obviously because of my trauma that happened. And I said, they're useless in my life. These people are just, they're sucking my blood. And when they need you and when they want something for you, that's the moment. I actually could see in the message, that's the moment when they reached out to me. But beside of that, I never heard from them. They don't even post on Facebook or whatever to me. And I was like, okay, fine. I don't need validation. I don't need validation what I do in my business. I don't need validation what I do in my life. I don't need anything that one. I passed that part where I need other people's approval and validation. As you said, authentic is me. I'm speaking open about my trauma. I say that my parents were abusive and really abusive, which I didn't even know. You know my father very well as well. And it's like, we knew that he was always awkward and always very predominant, but that I was able actually to cover up for almost 35 years what they actually physically have done to me is quite interesting, and interesting that the brain is actually able to do that. But it all came out now, and now I have all these flashbacks and moments where he pushed me down the marble staircase, where she beat me up with the belt, where he sexually abused me when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I mean, all these things are coming up right now. But you see, I'm talking open about it because I have nothing to hide anymore. I was in a cult. I'm saying it openly. I don't care. I don't give a f. I don't give a fuck anymore, actually, because it's about being authentic. And that is, as well as a coach, you need to be authentic. And I'm very authentic to my clients as well. I just tell them, I say, even on the new webpage now, I actually tell you 90% of my life story, what I've done in my life. And I was like, I don't care. I save you some time to do Google research, actually. So here you go. I'm out in the open. Why would I even? But that had made us more resilient, more stronger, and we can stand up with heads held high and say, this is who we are. We have done bad things. I'm open about it. I got in trouble with the law when I was young. I was alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I have probably taken every fucking drug under the sun, besides of heroin, which I'm very happy that I never did. I'm completely out of that. I have ADHD. I know it all, so I'm actually open about it. What do you not want? What else do you want to know about me, right? So, but because of that, Gudi, I have become resilient, strong, and I can actually coach you as a person that is hitting the roadblocks, because I can tell you, listen, I have been at that roadblock. I have been already suicidal. I have been all through that. As a coach, I do have the strategies, and I found it really interesting because when you say you have the strategies, you have the knowledge yourself. So we have done the certifications, we have done the training, and it's easy to give that to a third party or to another person. But when it comes to yourself, you don't have the objective vision of it, because you not have the rationale. We call it the rationale. You don't have the look at it from an exterior view and say, listen, that's where you go messed up right now. But being authentic and speaking it out actually helps me a lot to be more resilient and strong, and things don't hit me anymore. So, but anyway, what is your point of view? Because I mean, you went through hell with your little tumor there, and I really loved it how you approached it. You went like, you gave it a name, and you
Yeah,
were like,
Bömmel. But Bömmel doesn't exist on English. So my Bömmel in my head,
yeah,
my challenge was all afterwards. I named him Bill. So every new tumor in my head was Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2, Kill Bill 3. So now, in fact, that's the thing I want to tell you. Uh, Before I said nobody is born resilient, but everybody, when he's born, has a little piggy bank. You call it in England,
yeah,
piggy bank,
yeah,
Spardose,
yeah,
piggy
yeah,
bank,
exactly. The
and
little pig, the little piggy.
then you are born with your little piggy bank, and in the way of your life, you need some people who put some money or some resilience in
Yeah,
your piggy bank. Everywhere you go, some people or some children grow up with their grandmother. Some people grow up with their parents. Other babies have to go to the kindergarten already with 2 months. But the most important thing is that they have a person which they can trust. Or um, do you call it bonding person? Is it a
yes,
bonding person?
yeah, a bonder.
You need someone who cares about you. And we told before this show we were talking about this story with the panda and the little dragon. Can you show the picture?
I will show you the picture exactly. The panda right there. Here
Because
you
I
go.
think that matches the most important on your way of life is not the journey, like the journey of my illness or the destination when I'm going to be healed. The most important thing in life is the company, like our friendship the last 70 years,
Yeah.
you know. And this company, all these people, all your supporters, they put some, we call it
Resilient.
money, in your resilience pig.
Yeah.
And in bad times you can put something out and you can go further. Christian, can you tell me a word for Stolperstein? How do we call it? A big
Well,
stone on your way of life.
a stepping stone, a slipping stone, actually, where you slip
Yeah.
over a stone, basically. Yeah.
And in fact, some people are sitting down like that, thinking, oh, it's finished. I can't do anything. Everything is not all right. I'm alone. Then there are other people. They're walking like, I look left, right, other side. But there are also resilient people who climb up the hill and they're watching left, right, nice view, and they're going further. And that's resilience.
Yeah.
And for children, it's so important to get these supporters. It doesn't matter if it's a grandmother or if it's an uncle or if it's a neighbor or a kindergartner or the teacher. And to get back to my way or to my journey, I'm really lucky. When I was 6 months old, I've got adopted by a real good family here in Frieden. That was the first good thing in my life. In the kindergarten, I had a really, really nice kindergartner, which was named Frau Robers. I met her a few days ago here in town. And then in the primary school, when I was, I think, about 6 or 7 years old, we had to draw a picture from the Bible.
Yeah.
And I drew Mary and Joseph on the way to the Golgotha mountain, in company of a violet dog with 3 legs. And my father thought, oh gosh, what did she do? What did she do? And in fact, my teacher told my father, you don't have to worry about, just see it with the eyes of a child, and then everything will be all right. And this seeing the things with the eyes of a child, it's so important. And in German, you say talk, you have to speak in the same height with your eyes, Augen in Augenhöhe. How do you call it?
Yeah. Well,
That's,
on eye level. On eye level.
Yeah, to go on your knees while talking with children. That's so important. You have to take them for granted. They have to feel that you are honest to them. And that's when they feel that you take them for real, then they open their hearts. And when they open their hearts, you are the winner. Not the winner, but they are with you in a team. And that's the most important. I prefer them not to see me as a coach, but to see me then a team member. And that's really the spirit or the secret of my little groups. I'm not the teacher. I'm not their mother. I'm not the father. I'm like like a friend or like
equal. I'm equal.
Yeah. It's like this. And so they tell me everything, and sometimes it's really funny, but sometimes there are also really sad histories.
Yeah, and that is, And that is the bad part of it sometimes, Gudi, because you obviously come across all kinds of children. And as I said, when you look at my family and, to the outside world, nobody would have thought what's going inside the house, basically, because
Mm,
the outside world, we were like called high society, which I think is really ridiculous. But, um, you don't see that. It's not written on the face, because obviously when they beat me up, they made really good point on not beating me in the face. It was always below the line, so nobody could see it, right? And I think this is one of the things where your work becomes as well very important
mm,
to, because the children, as you say, you're going on a level and they will tell you things, and they will tell it to you in a funny way, actually, in their children way, in their very sometimes very simplistic way as well. But they probably will not tell anybody else, but they will tell you because they feel very confident, and you make them feel confident and comfortable. So obviously you have as well, for me, a very high responsibility, because when you find out something is going on there, you obviously need to get the authorities
yeah.
intervene, because
So,
obviously a child
the
might be
thing,
in a very stressful situation here, right?
and in fact, for me, the thing is sometimes I'm in a really, really struggle because there's some of the kids is telling something really, really cruel to me,
Yeah.
what has happened in the family.
Mhm.
And I'm also in contact with the parents. And then it's sometimes really, really mm,
How do you
hard
react?
to
Yes.
decide how to get in conversations with the children and the other side with the parents,
Hmm.
because you want to make them happy, both sides. But
Hmm.
sometimes I see, okay, the kid is lying, okay,
Hmm.
so I can tell it to the parents. But
Hmm.
sometimes the children, they are crying or they're telling something about home, and then I have to decide, how do I talk with the parents to be understood,
Hmm. Yeah.
because I want to protect the children and I
Hmm.
want to connect them. And that's sometimes a little bit
But
yeah,
obviously,
complicated.
child protection is your utmost, and if you know that is, I mean, there are sometimes really indication that the child is telling the truth. Obviously,
Yeah,
I can't say I can't protect the parents there anymore, because obviously a child should
yeah,
nowhere near being in a horrible scenario. But you see, and then again, and that's where your work comes in, beside of the protection part as well. You teach them to go through this trauma already at a young
yeah,
age, and
yeah,
to be resilient towards all that, because obviously, um what I was going to ask you in a minute, but we're gonna just have a 1 minute break, because I need to talk about this virtual summit. So on the 11th at 11:11 UK time, which is 12:11 German time, we're gonna have these entire day virtual summit with me and four other guest speakers, Kellyanne, and then we do have amazing. Kellyanne is doing about mindset. I do about procrastination. And then we do have Estelle from Canada, who is a declutter coach. And it's not only decluttering your house, it's decluttering inside out. So pretty much as well emotional declutter. Tony Babcock, who's going to talk about this amazing of being authentic. You see, we just talked about it. Be have a message and being authentic to yourself. And then we do have Amanda Rose, who is talking about manifestation and the law of attraction, and how you really put it all together. So just a very short clip. So if you haven't registered, free tickets are available. They're actually 100% free. So please go ahead and sign up. You will see that on my profile, and as well on Sparkle Your Magic Impacts profile. Just click on the link, sign up. Amazing. If you want to have the replay, we do have a gold ticket, which is $11.11, and we're going to actually donate that to dreamflight.org, which is a charity here in the UK, which takes children with terminal illness or very severe illness and give them a vacation of a lifetime together with British Airways to Orlando, to Walt Disney World. So we're going to donate all the proceeds actually over to this organization. So anyway, let me just do this short video and we'll be right back. And we are back live. So, yes, it's just really, huh? It's just really what I said. You know, it's so important to work on the resilience with our children, and you do such an amazing work there, Gudi. And I love actually on the background you have this little poster that you've done. Now you were showing. We only see
I
a bit
should
of.
move. I think I should move.
Yeah, you should move it a little bit around to show it actually.
This
Children become what they are told they are, and I love this sentence actually.
And this is one of the, me and my daughter were always painting, drawing, singing, dancing. In the pandemic, in fact, we rescued ourselves by painting the whole house, really. And in fact, it's like this: if you tell your children that they are okay like they are, that they are good, that and you motivate them the whole time, they will get strong. And that's really, really important. And in fact, now in the pandemic, it's one of the most important things. The most important things for all families is to stay together. In my opinion, it's that the most children will later remember that their home or what their home felt like during this coronavirus, rather than anything specific about the virus itself, in my opinion.
And that I absolutely tell you, because you know we look from the adult standpoint, people that went through the virus and how like divorces and happened and etc. What like you know these things do happen because what environment was actually at home during the pandemic. We're talking about the pandemic as a virus. What you actually made a very good point here. But what are the circumstances at home? What happened? There were people that were beating up their wives and etc. So you know,
and that's the thing I want to say. The children watch their domestic environment, and so they learn how to respond to stress. And children they have to be, how do you call this, sensitized? Has it sensitized?
Yeah, sensitized. Yes, yeah.
To resilience. And during this pandemic, it's so important for all people who live with children, who work with children, to strengthen them, because they need this. They need this. And last but not least, skin and body contact is so important. They have to be hugged the whole day normally. It's like this. Lotta now, she's 7, my daughter. And since I think 1.5 year now, the pandemic, 1.5 year.
Yeah, it's almost 2 years now. We're so close to 2 years already.
It started in the spring of the pandemic, when there was the first lockdown here in Germany.
Mm.
When it says, Eastern, you can't visit your grandma or grandfather. And then we made a big picture with all the days. For every day we had made a bubble. I think it was 40 days or something like this. So, and we painted it really with all the colors, and we made a big picture. And then we enrolled it with a big red, how do you call it, Schleife? A red ribbon, a bed.
Bow, yes. Yeah, ribbon bow,
And
yeah.
we gave it to grandma and grandfather so that they can do a cross every day. And then it began, I think it was 12:30, knocking at our door. And Lotta was standing next to our bed. Am I allowed to sleep here? Every mom and dad know that it's terrible if you can't move in your own bed. Little children are like little helicopters. So my husband left side, me at the right side, and Lotta like a helicopter turning around. And 5 minutes later, the dog also was jumping in our bed. And first, I thought to throw them out of the room. But then I said, stop. You're talking always about resilience. Virginia Satir, hugging. The skin is our biggest thing. You can't throw out your daughter, put her back into the bed. And also we adults, we need to be hugged every day.
Yes.
And by hugging, how do I, in fact, children need to be hugged to grow up, to grow internal and also external, I think. And there are studies which tell you that hugging keeps your children healthy. It keeps you healthy. And to embrace people also lets our body wait, I'm searching for the word, to produce this hormone. You call this love hormone oxytocin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's also known, I think, as love hormone. You say love hormone in English?
Love hormone.
And
Yeah.
you need oxytocin to get healthy, to get strong, and to be resilient. And so these important hugs are building also optimism.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely
And
do.
I think also self-esteem.
Yeah. Oh God.
If you know that there's somebody hugging you, you're feeling strong, you're feeling good. And I think we can't beat this coronavirus by hugging. That's the opposite. We are told not to hug each other to not to spread this
The virus.
virus,
Yeah.
but in fact to overcome or to survive, we have to hug each other. So something is wrong here with this.
And you're absolutely right. This is one of the questions that I've been asking myself during the pandemic, and I've been looking at it as well now. What this disconnect from human interaction, and I mean that not only the Zoom connection here, but the actual physical connection with people. What these 2 years will do on the future of the mental health services. We're only seeing the tip of an iceberg, because I know that they are already overloaded with people having mental crises. And I think, as I said, I only see the tip of the iceberg, because I think, let's go 5 years down the road, I think the mental health services will be overloaded. And I think that's where it's important that we as coaches come in and actually help them and guide them, because obviously we have a code of ethics where we see when it's a really mental health sickness, which is like really needs medical treatment or treatment of a psychiatrist, psychologist, where we as coaches say, sorry, this is going beyond our boundaries. where
Yeah.
we're not psychologists, right?
Yeah.
We are trained in NLP techniques. We are trained on how to ask the
How
right
do we?
question and actually get you to go to the right destination. But we have to be, with our code of ethics, we have to look at it as well. There are limitations, but obviously we still can help people that are questioning the purpose of life. They're questioning about the missing of context and everything. We actually do that, and I think that's what we say. I know earlier when I asked you earlier to come on the show tonight, and you was, and I was saying, well, good to give me your webpage and everything, and you went, it's like, yeah, but I'm not doing really too much right now. And I think it is so silly, honestly. And let me as a coach tell you, as a business and executive coach right now, Goody, you need to really get into this business again and really get it going. And even to the UK or even France, Goody, not only in Germany, you speak enough
Yeah.
English. You need to come here and talk to
I
the children.
this
And when
thing
we,
you know me. I love training the trainers, because if there's only one into this weekend by learning something about relaxation and resilience for children, only this person can already change so many in life of children. And
mm,
that's the thing. Normally I'm doing this live, because this weekend or this training has to be live. You have to feel this, we have to touch each other. We're doing like relaxation lessons, something like this, how do you call it? Fantasiereisen, like this hypnosis trance things.
Fenter's tour,
And
yeah.
the people we have to be live, and we are doing creative things. We can't do these things via Zoom or Teams or
No.
online. That's because I always say we are working with the material child.
Hmm.
We don't work with paper or with things or with whatever. We are working with little tiny human beings. And these human beings, these little children or these little souls, they will be our future. And we can destroy so many things. So we have to care them. That's the thing. One, to end this, we in German we have this nice word, Kindergärtnerin.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and everywhere
Kindergarten.
in the word, the word
Yeah.
kindergarten is well known and
Yeah.
with a positive mind.
Hmm.
And in Germany, the old women or men who were Kindergärtnerin, they are proud to be Kindergärtnerin, but
Hmm.
now they call themselves Erzieherin. This
Yeah.
is a really hard German word. You understand this?
Yeah. Educator,
And
basically. Yeah. Wow. Hmm.
kindergarten, it's like a garden. The children, they are like flowers. And
Yeah.
if you are Kindergärtnerin or
Hmm.
kindergartner,
Hmm.
you it's up to you to rose them with water and to give them the sun they need to grow.
Hmm.
That's Kindergärtnerin. And
Yeah.
in the word Erzieherin, it contains in the middle the word ziehen. Ziehen means to
Pulling.
pull.
Yeah.
And it's like grass, like growing grass. You can put water on it, but even if you try to pull this green grass, it wouldn't grow quicker. So
Hmm.
for me, the word
Hmm.
kindergartner, is it's like a compliment,
Yes.
because our children, that's our future. We have to care them, we have to caress them, and we are responsible to make them grow and to let them grow in their way.
Hmm.
And that's the most important thing.
And it is, and it absolutely said. So that's why I said to you, Goody, you need to bring your work as well to the UK, and I will make it happen. I will make here a seminar for coaches to actually come here to the UK, and you will teach the coaches here in London, or even next year. Next year we, because this year it's a virtual
Be
summit,
war,
and next,
be war.
yeah,
You know, I hate PowerPoint presentation. And now you saw a little bit of my all my flip charts. All
yes,
my 50 charts are drawn by myself. 1 hour, one chart. They
Yeah.
only exist in German. Hey.
But we're gonna do them in English. Don't worry, we have time for that. But you see, like next year, this year we do the virtual summit because still of the pandemic, so it's in virtually the summit. But next year we actually gonna do it in Orlando at Walt Disney. Well, actually at Universal Studios in Orlando, we do a live summit, and we have 20 guest speakers, and you will be one of my guests to be there because I think so many coaches need to learn from you what they actually can do and how important children's are. So thank you for being our guest. Please stay online because even if I extend the broadcast, we'll have a little chat afterwards. And thank you again, Gudi. It was such a pleasure to have you today as our guest. Bye.
Thank you very much for being invited, and thank you. And I hope to see you soon. And
yeah, we will do. Thank you. Find the final video that comes again for the summit, and then I'll see you next week, Tuesday, and don't miss the summit.